You're thinking about traveling alone, but you're my age, you're 55, 56, you're thinking too late, or you're too nervous, too worried, time's over, time has passed. But let me tell you, it is way more freeing to travel solo, to do it on your own, than it is to do it in a group or with friends. For me, it's like if I want to do things, I do them on my own time. I do them on my own schedule. But what I always hear is like, what if something goes wrong? Like, what if you don't feel like you fit in, or you're out of place? I mean, who cares? It's like you're in a different country, you're in a different place in the world, nobody knows you. It actually forces you to be more sociable. You have to go out, you have to meet friends, you have to talk to people. I find that it's great. I'm a little bit of an introvert normally. I know I do YouTube, but it's like I find it forces me to go out to find people to talk to, people I find interesting. Also, like, what if something goes wrong? Things go wrong every day. It's normal. It's part of life. My flight got delayed. My second flight got delayed. My driver took 5 hours to drive out. They changed the driver out on me coming here. I had to get a different driver. So things always go wrong. But it's exactly like what you would do when you were home. Instead of panicking about it, instead of worrying about it, you just deal with it at the time. I love traveling by myself because I don't have anybody else's agenda. It's like I just get up in the morning and I decide, well, what do I want to do today? I don't do the guided tours. I don't do, every once in a while, yes, I'll take if I'm going to somewhere different, like up a mountain, for instance, I'll take a guide. I hardly ever go up a mountain. I'm not a big walker. Well, that's a lie. I'm not a big climber. I don't do the hiking thing. But generally, I just get up in the morning and decide what I want to do for the day. Like, for instance, today, it took almost 3 hours for lunch. Can you do that with friends? Can you do that when you're on a tight schedule or anything else? So it's like, no, it's so much more freeing when you're by yourself. It's your agenda. You decide what you want to do. So also, I don't think of myself as a tourist. So I don't go to the touristy spots. I don't go to, like, there's a million people in line. There's all that. I try to get off the beaten path. I try to get lost. Actually, I tend to like being lost and then somewhere different and new where I have to go and ask questions. I have to go figure stuff out. That's actually my favorite thing. It's like I always like to be where people aren't. It's like, oh, nobody's ever seen this before. Like here where I am in Guatemala and Panachel, everybody goes down to the lake. Everybody takes pictures of the sunset down right at the viewing point where there's 100 people there now every single night taking pictures. Well, I don't do that. I walk probably 5 miles, maybe 4 miles, complete end of the other part of the town, and I find a little tiny private beach, which I showed in a couple of videos ago. That's my favorite thing to do, is to go find those off the beaten path places where most tourists don't go. And I always hear that it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Like, what happens if some? You'll be surprised. You'll be so blown away about how many people are out there that want to help you. If you're lost, there's a video about me getting lost in the mountains of Guatemala last year, and just go back and watch that video if you want. You'll see, like, I got completely lost up in the mountains, and this farmer didn't speak English, didn't speak Quechua, didn't speak anything. We communicated through, I'm lost, I don't know where the town is, and literally got his son, put me in the back of a pickup truck, drove me into town. Probably a 20-minute drive, and absolutely point blank refused to take any money. So even if you get yourself into a little bit of a predicament, which I tend to do a lot, there's always somebody there. People are more nice than nasty, and you will find that out when you travel. There's people willing to help you everywhere. Take yourself, for instance. If you were in town and you came across some lost tourist, you're not going to treat them bad. You're going to try to help them as much as you can. And that's generally across the world. That's where most people are very, very nice. Obviously, take precautions. Don't be stupid. Don't go out at 4 o'clock in the morning. All the bars and nightclubs are getting out and expect to find a friendly face. Because when people are drunk, they're not that friendly. Here where I am in Guatemala, I see more single older ladies walking around town by themselves, or some of them have a little Guatemalan guy that's helping them out, doing the groceries, carrying the bags for them. But these people are in their 70s, 75, 80 years old. They're here walking around town by themselves, out in the sun, no fear whatsoever. So if you think that you can't travel on your own, take a chance. Go book something, because you'll be blown away at how easy it actually is and freeing it becomes. You get to experience so much more when you're traveling by yourself than in a group. I see all these people coming here, all these tourists, and groups of 10, 15, 20, and they're all walking around like little packs of ducks in town. What are they experiencing? Nothing. They're looking at the locals, and they're like, it's like a zoo. They're like, oh, look, there's a local there. And then they go to the same restaurants, they go to the same sort of coffee shops. It's like they're all in the same. They don't get to experience the authenticity of a place, and you only get that when you're by yourself. So if you're thinking about it, do it. Just take a minute out of your life and go do something. Don't be afraid. One other thing I forgot to mention in the earlier video is budget. When you're traveling by yourself, your budget becomes much less. Dinner is on your own. You don't have to worry about spending money on other people. It's much easier. You can choose whatever food you want. You don't have to go to the fancy restaurants. You can just go to the cheaper restaurants or street food, and it just makes it a whole lot cheaper when you're on a budget. Especially coming here. The last time I brought a friend, they charged me $150 to take a car here. When you're by yourself, it's $100. And when you're eating out, obviously, you pick and choose whatever you want. So that's another thing to think about, is when you're traveling solo, the budget. And one other thing is, I'm sitting here thinking while I'm waiting on my dinner, and hopefully this time I'm actually going to be able to get you a proper picture of my dinner as it arrives, because you know how terrible I am at that, forgetting. But the one thing that came to mind was no drama, no stress. Basically, you're on your own. You don't have to worry about disagreements with other people. You do what you want to do, and you don't have to worry about where are they going, where are you going, who wants to go here, who wants to go there. Again, as I said, it's your schedule, your time, so there's extremely less drama. And the other thing that I figured out about that is you get a sense of mindfulness, a sense of your own presence per se. It's like you start to think a bit more about who you are, and you're not like following somebody else. You're leading your own way, doing your own thing. So mindfulness and a sense of sort of accomplishment comes over you while you're traveling solo, because you have to figure it all out by yourself. On the subject of mindfulness and, accepting challenges and things like that, the other thing I think traveling at this age alone helps you with is personal growth. You actually grow stronger mentally, just dealing with other cultures, other people. Even like, I'm not that spiritual myself, but I see the other cultures and how they respect their elders and treat people older generations. So it helps you grow personally. It pushes you out of your comfort zone, so you have to grow. Not everything's being led by somebody else, so you tend to get uncomfortable. And I always say you're better when you're uncomfortable, because you learn more. Eventually, I get a video of my dinner as it arrives. That's all I asked for. I didn't want vegetables, didn't want guacamole, didn't want... Dinner finished. Now I gotta grab a tuk-tuk to get to the house, because I gotta edit this video and then talk to my family. back at the hotel now, just finishing up the video, finishing up editing the video as well, and just wanted to say thanks again to everybody. Anybody has any questions, anybody wants to ask me anything about traveling solo, alone, even though I don't consider myself old, but other people consider me old. So if you want to reach out, write a question in the comment, ask me anything you want about traveling solo. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that I can. I don't know everything, I just know a lot because I do it a lot. Anyway, thank you. Have a good night. See you all later. Actually, I'll catch you tomorrow.